Hi guys. Imagine a scenario, if you will. You got a brand new piece of audio gear, and the only cables you can find at this store are these thin little toy wires that don't work well. And so, yeah, I got the right plug on one end. Maybe you need a 3.5 millimeter to RCA, but only to find out that the wire inside these cords is like ultra thin and breaks really easy. So you buy a whole bunch of these cords, and after a while, after heavy use, they start to break, and you start throwing them away, and you're going, yeah, this is crap. I need something with a little more life, a little more strength. I have been buying commercial grade cords for rock bands, and I'm going to show you some new cords I bought that I just got in the mail today. Let's take a look at these together here. And these comes from a company called Pig Hog. Now, already I can tell you right now that these wires are not no toy. Okay, these are pretty heavy duty. And these are 6-foot ones, and they're designed to tolerate, unfortunately, using zip cord on them. But you can see the difference in the wire between these two RCA plugs. Okay, I'm trying to show the plug here. Okay, you can see the two wires. So this one is just typical cheesy, chitsy, Chinese garbage, and these ones are the big, heavier, beefy, stout cables. Okay, these are also like 5 times more expensive. And I am going to open the package. I just gotta go get my pliers to snip. But anyway, so because I use so many of these cords, I decided to buy 4 RCA to RCA, and let's see if I can find the other ones. I think it's over here. Yeah. 4 RCA to TS plugs. And the reason is our audio gear uses these type connectors between the mixer side, or these plugs here, and most of the consumer grade gear. I have these RCA clench plugs on here. So therefore, there's a reason to buy these cords. Now, I never heard of this company Pig Hog, except over there on eBay. Of course, they're made in China, like everything else in the world. And I'm trying to see if there's a WebHog site for this here. It says here is Pig Hog cables carry a limited lifetime warranty against select manufacturing. Warranty is valid from the date of purchase with proof of purchase. Warranty entitles you to its owner to repair or replacement. Well, so I never heard. pighogcables.com. It says lifetime guarantee. This is a 6-foot cord, and so we're gonna be using them to. I bought another similar set of cable from another company. The only difference was that the plug was white instead of black and red. And we're using those right now on this mixer, and they work fine. So I have immediate use for these cords. Because, unfortunately, there ain't much you can do when you got to deal with this end, the 3.5 millimeter plug end. Because you can't really cram a wire of the Pig Hog cable into this end. It's just the wire conductors are too darn large. Okay, But these plugs can be upgraded. Let's be honest. This is crap. Wimpy, wimpy. I want hefty. I need plugs that can take a killing. I've got a cat. I have, I just need something that's strong and tough, and this has got the stuff to do it. So I bought enough wire to make lots of cables, lots of plugs, and remember, you can have the best equipment in the world, but if you don't have a mixer with the right plugs, if you cannot keep your connections together, it's over. You gotta have a good cord. Why spend a couple $1,000 on your studio gear if your internet connect cables are gonna let you down? Now, are these cables all that bad? Well, it depends on a couple things to consider. Okay, I'm talking about for the average person. How much you're gonna be plugging and unplugging these? If the cable is just laying quietly routed through and it's not being flexed too much or being stressed, this might be fine. But in my studio, my cables take a killing, and I really need a good quality cable. So what we're gonna do is let me go get something to snip off those cables and connect them where we're going to connect them, and then I'll test them, and we'll talk about them in a little bit, because I think there's a lot to go on here. So let me just go ahead and pause this and get these unclipped so we can look at the full length of the wire. Okay, I have these cables unclipped, so now we can see how these are made. This here is the 1/4-inch plug end, and this is the 3.5 RCA plug. So let's talk about the RCA plug first, because this is the part that can compare apples to apples here with these little insignificant, cheap Chinese wires. Now, the similarity between the two is very important. The fact is there's no thing to prevent the wire from peeling all the way back, which can be a problem for some applications, but in some cases it could be a good thing. The second thing you'll notice is that these wires are much thinner than these. These is like 3 times as thick. So if you have room to run these kind of wires when I'm wiggling into a spot, these are going to be much more durable for you. The weight of the cable is completely different. They're both 6 foot. This is like ridiculously light. This is like put a healing amount of mine and it's gonna float away. However, this is much more stocky. This is a 6 foot length. And what we're going to do with this is I want to plug my mixer board back into my Class D amplifier in the other room, and then connect my turntable back from my garage back over here, so that I can have the third turntable hooked up. But I wanted something that was a little more stocky and a little more stronger. Because let's be honest, when you're comparing the cords here, there is a clear difference. This wire is thin. I'm trying to see if I show you without making it more confusing than it's worth. This wire is thin, crappy, good for duty use, expendable, cheap tinsel crap. You can get these for $2 a set. This is the best you can get these things for was about $8, $9, $10 a set. So this is more similar to the kind of cables that Radio Shack used to make when they were making the wires that were 1/4-inch thick. They didn't have a rubberized compound on it, but the original Radio Shack cables were much heavier. Also, you can read the labeling on it. It says here, this is a patch cable. And I don't know which brand it is. It doesn't say if it's what kind of wire it is, but it's a rubberized installation. It's definitely a dull color, whereas this one is kind of a shiny color. So let's just say that already you can see this cable is very tough. Don't try that with the other wire, guys. You'll rip it. I'm not even trying to pull hard. If I did this with the other cable, it would rip it in half already. I already would have broken wires inside. And I'm not even pulling hard on it. So, and these wires, I can't believe it. China is making them even thinner than this. I have one of these interconnects. Wires even thinner than this. China, get with the program. Number one, nobody wants wires that are thinner. They want wires that are going to stand up to everyday use. Maybe this might be a little bit too much for the average consumer as far as need to be extra strong, but these are designed for gigs, for when you're doing bands and rock bands and performances like that. So this is completely different cables. And also we have to this the RCA to RCA to connect as well. I paid between all these, I paid $60 for these cables. Yeah, I know. I spend a lot of money on wire. I actually do. I spend a ridiculous amount of money on cords. So, but Pig Hog, can I make a suggestion for you? Would you please consider avoiding using some daggone zip ties? These things are impossible to get off, and I would much rather if you use twist ties instead. But if you want to use zip ties, how about using for length of 6 foot? Why don't you just use 2? Okay. No. I hate these zip ties. Oh, there you go. So we have a cable 1, which is going to go from the mixer to the amplifier, and the other one that is going to go from the turntable preamp to the mixer. And while we're at it, let's take a look at the consistency of length. Because sometimes manufacturers will make cords of different lengths. And these are pretty close to the same size. And this already weighs a lot. Just picking up 2 sets on my hand, this weighs a lot more than a whole bunch of these other cheap Chinese piece of shits. If you have 2 of these wires together, and these weigh 3 times, 4 times as much. So, we're going to see how this works. So I have the cords connected. So let me explain how these new cables go. This goes from my preamp to my mixer, and the other cord goes from my mixer to my Class C amplifier over there. Now, by the way, not all cords were made like crap at one time, China used to make better quality consumer grade cables like this. And these are sometimes used with better LCD and CRT TVs, and these were a much greater quality cable. If you can find these, I don't know if that part number associates with anybody's cabling, but this is the AV cable, and they also make the component video cable as well with 3 wires for RGB, and these cords are good. I've used these for a long time. This is a lot longer. This is like 12 feet long. So, definitely, no, that's quite an improvement. Now, what else we have, and we still have one of these left in here on the mixer board, but eventually we're going to get rid of all of them because we don't need to use these too much, is you still see these one set of RCA plugs here plugged into these adapters. And this is going to the USB adapter sound card underneath there on top of the Mac Mini, and you can see that red box. And so I could replace those cables too. In fact, I did buy enough to buy that, replace them, but I'm probably not going to do that right now because it's not going to be any problems. We have another brand of cable here, which are also reasonably good quality. These are not as thick as the Pig Hogs, but they are still pretty thick. These are closer to the conductor size of the gray cable over there. So, this cable here is pretty good. Now, as far as all these RCA adapters go, I hate them things, but you know what? There is a reason I keep them around the studio, because sometimes you need them just to keep it simple. And of course, there's our microphone cables, which I really kind of wish I bought the 12-foot long ones, but unfortunately the seller didn't have those in stock, and so we ended up buying the other ones. Also, while we're at it, let's talk about the microphone cables. These are also professional grade, road-worthy, gig-worthy cables. This here replaced the cheap Chinese tinsel aluminum-clad garbage that was constantly breaking. I simply insisted on getting better cords because I'm like, I can't afford to have my audio equipment offline. I can't afford to have my sound quit on the middle of a live stream. And I insist on having the best sound and video I can. Well, since we're doing that, I want to talk about the video setup here. We see we have 2 monitors, okay? During the morning show, this is the monitor where I read your captions and I'm talking to people on panel. And we can see we're on this camera right here. Is over here. You can see this is a USB-based camera. It's actually kind of meant for embedded applications like inside machinery and things like that. It's also a CCTV camera, which is the same as this one up there on the wall, except the one on the wall is composite. This is my SM48 microphone right there, and it's connected by XLR cable. I replaced the pile of shit, which the pile of shit, I still have it. I just want to put a new shell on it and get that back to work. And there's my Stream Deck down there. That's where we do our soundboards. Over here is our 2 turntables. This is a 2 turntable mixing board, and you can see the shitty wires on the back of this. I might replace these cables too, because even though they are physically okay, I really hate these things, and honestly, these have got to go. Okay, but the output cable might be a bit of a problem, because the other cables I bought are only 6 feet long, and I don't have to be no rocket scientist to see that right here is more than 6 feet. So I might have to get some 10-footers or 12-footers, but for now, it'll work. Or I can use the gray gable that's on the floor, which will be just as good. And lastly, but not the least, is the computers. You can probably see down there earlier. That's the Mac Mini underneath the analog to USB encoder. That's down there. That's where I replaced the old audio setup, because that one, the stereo in it, works really good. So you see, guys, we have been upgrading the gear with your money, your donations. And maybe you're going to be asking me a question. What about that camera? You're still using that PAL camera. It's only 700 TBL. Why don't you get a brand new PAL camera that's a 950 TBL like this one? I might do that. I think the PAL works pretty good. Or I could upgrade it and go with AHTV or SDI and high definition video. So that's not a possibility. Of course, there's our Christmas tree. I haven't taken it down yet. It's going to become the summertime. We're going to be using it as a giving tree. I'm going to figure out how to get that labeled and stuff. I don't know what to do with those stereo speakers over there. I got to put some things in the storage bin and go through that. And lastly, not least, we have our records over there. We have records over there, and we have records below there. We're supposed to put all the records on the new shelf. We never did move it over because there's a stereo I got to fix for Krista. I still want to fix it. It would be really nice to have that working for Krista. So that's what I'm going to try to do. But anyway, guys, that's that. Just thought I would show you what we had and talk to you later. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.